Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to an incredible astrological season. March is set to be a time of massive shifts taking place for the collective and in our own individual journeys as well. Saturn is going to change signs moving into Pisces for the better part of the next 3 years is when we're going to feel this energy. We've also got Pluto dipping into the sign of Aquarius now, but truly this is the beginning of a more extensive cycle for humanity that'll be with us for about 20 years to come. And Mars, after spending an unusually long time since August of last year in the sign of Gemini, will also finally change signs as well, moving into Cancer. And so these are massively important shifts that are happening for all of us now. And I've spoken about these at length already here on my YouTube channel, and I will link to that video below. And of course, if you want a very deep dive to understand how these big energies are going to speak for you in your sign, check out the year ahead horoscope. You can look at that at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com or download it now at NadiyaShah.com. For the monthly horoscopes, I am focusing a lot more on the big lunar events. Chances are we will feel them that much more. But just know there's a lot of things to consider here, and there's a lot here on my YouTube channel that can help you to navigate this truly amazing time for the collective and in your own individual journey as well. It'll be a great month. Enjoy. Hello, fabulous superstar Aquarius. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of March 2023. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now, and boy, is this a very big month for you. So let me start with the lunar energy that is playing out. That tends to be more on the surface because it speaks to our emotional lives. Well, for you, on the 8th of the month, we will have this month's full moon taking place in a deeply consequential part of your sky, having to do with profound change, profound truth, having to do with your understanding of what's really going on within you and how you really feel about a matter. So much so that once you accept this truth, you can't help but change. But this part of the sky also has to do with the wealth and your understanding of what wealth is going to be for you, how you're going to define it, navigating forward from here. In a more practical sense, this could be a time when you're actually dealing with financial institutions. Now, here's the thing. Your modern ruling planet is speaking in supreme harmony with this full moon. That is energy I absolutely love for you. Things could change very quickly in a way that you really love. I see this energy as being very fortunate, and it leaps you into your future in some way. And so if it is that you've been trying to secure funding, that could come together for you very quickly at this time. If it is that you've been trying to find a more personal understanding for some truth to click, well, this could be one of those moments where you feel that shift and it leaps you forward. If it is that instead you've been examining yourself already, perhaps in a transformative process like therapy. This could be psychological or physical therapy for that matter. It's now that you really feel the fruits of change, or you may be making some dramatic shift at this time. Regardless, in some way you are feeling changed as a result of this full moon. But you're also defining wealth differently, and you're also feeling like the universe is a very generous place taking care of you at this time. I do want you to be mindful there's somewhat of a connection between this full moon and Mercury and Neptune, both planets being opposite this full moon. And to me, that represents some uncertainty, some fear. Perhaps there are some details that are a little bit less than ideal. And yet the strongest energy associated with this full moon is Uranus, which does suggest that whatever transpires and the outcomes, well, you'll like them very, very much. And they'll leave you feeling very fortunate as well. As we navigate later in the month, on the 21st, we will have this month's new moon. That new moon takes place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with communication, conversation. It has to do with curiosity as well, what it is you uniquely have to express. Siblings, cousins, and neighbors are covered here. Now, here's the interesting thing with this new moon. It is at 0 degrees. It is at the very beginning of its respective sign, which means it truly represents a spark, that very beginning moment. We do have some planets speaking with this new moon. However, they're not true aspects, which I find quite interesting. The connections are there, but the elements don't line up here. And what that means is what's positive, right? It's Pluto sextile in harmony with this new moon. Well, some of the positivity and the potential calms down a little bit, but also the tension, which is the square between Mars and this new moon, that calms down as well. And ultimately, what you're left with is an energy that is somewhat isolated at this time. And so, to me, this represents new ideas, new things you want to learn, perhaps the very spark and beginning of something you have to share, whether that might be on social media or in a book, for example. This is where the ideas come. And so you want to nurture them. It may take a little time to really flesh out the nuances and really understand what it is that you're really wanting to say, but it will come. If it is that this energy shows up in terms of your relationship with siblings, cousins, and neighbors, again, it's just the seed, it's just the spark. And so there could be some wonderful ideas, wonderful possibilities, and yet there needs to be more follow through before we know whether or not those ideas are going to count for something in the fullness of time. Now, the other very big news for you, right? A couple of really big newses here, I will say. Of all the signs out there, it is most likely to be your sign that's going to feel the energy of a shift. A lot of us are going to feel like a lot of things have changed, and that certainly includes you as well, but you more than most. On the 7th of the month, Saturn will leave your sign. Okay, so that energy of responsibility and maturity and seriousness calms down. But instead, you start to bring a more mature approach to your finances over the course of the better part of the next 3 years. We are also going to have Mars leaving fellow air sign Gemini, which means that the part of you that's been engaged in understanding what you really want in your heart of hearts in every area of life. It's been an unusually long time having this energy in this part of the sky since August of 2022, rather than the usual, 6 weeks or so. We've had months of this energy. Well, that is going to calm down as well as Mars moves on towards the end of the month. But there's something else that happens towards the end of the month, about a week before the month ends. Pluto will enter your sign. You're going to get a little bit of a taste here into June, at which time Pluto will retrograde out. We're going to get a little more of this in and out of your sign with Pluto until Pluto moves much more comfortably into your sign for a nice long stay once we get into 2025. So basically, you're at the beginning of a journey that really is 20 years of the future in the making that is coming together for you. You're at the beginning of understanding what that could be. And so what I would say is this energy is of authenticity. It is an energy of understanding what's worth focusing on and what isn't. It's about understanding and owning your power, whatever that may be. And it's also about being true to yourself. That's ultimately what authenticity is. It's about realizing what ultimately is superficial and what doesn't matter, or what doesn't matter to you anymore. And now, moving forward, embracing instead a renewed understanding of whom it is that you are, even if you don't know what that is just yet. You may have identified with sort of false understandings of power. Well, chances are that just isn't going to work for you anymore. You're going to have a moment of getting really honest with you, and that can't help but change so much for you. Your identity is going to go through a massive shift in the years ahead. Right now, you get a little taste as to what that could be, And you get to decide if you like it or not as part of embracing the journey ahead and how it is meant to unfold. Now, where it comes to matters of love, let's go right back to that Mars, okay? So Mars in a heart-oriented part of the sky, finally that journey is going to come to an end. And as Mars leaves this heart-oriented part of the sky for you, I think you're going to find any determination or search to dating and romance and exploring what love really is for you. Well, all of that calms right down in the last days of this month. Ultimately, all these energies end up working together as part of the divine dance. And it's interesting that Pluto is considered the higher vibration of Mars. And of course, we've had this extended Mars season. And now, just as Pluto enters your sign, it's just a couple days later that Mars changes signs, leaving an air sign, moving into a brand new part of your sky. And so, at least with matters of love, things are going to calm down and you're going to find yourself able to engage others with a greater sense of ease, I'd like to say, in one respect. But Pluto's entering your sign. That's going to change everything. You're going to want what's authentic. You're going to want what's real. Anything else just isn't going to cut it. So for those of you open to meeting someone new, I do love that Mars is moving on because it does suggest that the part of you that's been wanting to date, to get your flirt on, to have those interactions for romance, well, you'll start to feel a little bit more at ease in that journey. It won't feel as urgent anymore. However, I think that once Pluto enters your sign, there's going to be a part of you that is going to crave really intense and authentic experiences. And as part of that craving or as part of that desire, there could be a sense now of a lot stirring within you. And that ultimately will have a sweeping effect and has the potential to absolutely show up in terms of the types of experiences in love you'll likely be moving towards. For those of you just starting to date someone, what a remarkable time this can be. With Mars leaving a dating part of your sky, I think once Mars leaves, it's like you find your answer. You understand what it was that you were working through or working on with this person. And so that urgency, the adrenaline rush you might have got from them, it calms right down. However, Pluto's going to enter your sign, and that's really about getting real with yourself, about whom is in your life and how you really feel about it. The desire for something authentic, something that reaches deep within you is going to become very strong. If you have that here, it'll only accelerate. But if you don't, it just isn't going to work for you anymore. And for those of you in an established bond, well, look, I can't help but think Pluto entering your sign is going to change so much for you. If it is that you are in your relationship and you've just been kind of floating along and you've had your doubts, well, now you're going to get clear. It's all or nothing with Pluto in your sign. You're either all in or you're really not, and you're going to go in a different direction. Also possible, though, of course, is with this some truth about what it is that is happening within the relationship, where it is that perhaps you've had rose-colored glasses. Well, with Pluto entering your sign, you can't really do that in any area of life. And so this ultimately comes down to being really honest about your relationship, what it's built on, and whether or not it's really meant to last. Where it is, Pluto in your sign will make that relationship unshakable, stronger going forward from here. But where that isn't the case, well, chances are anything less than absolutely authentic just isn't going to work for you navigating forward from here. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a valuable and meaningful astrological moment. You certainly are moving in brand new directions this month, I will say. So much about this month is about truth and getting to the core of whom it is you are and what it is that you really want and what your priorities truly are as well. It is going to be on the 23rd that Pluto will enter your sign. 2 days later, Mars moves on into a brand new part of your sky. Earlier in the month, Saturn leaves your sign. So you can see here that these big changes that are taking place are going to speak to you very personally, which means that as massive changes take place in the sky, massive changes will be taking place with you as well. Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive videoscopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there.